With the village fully completed, we can now focus on the underwater section of the diorama. We will first begin with two 48x48 grey base plates for this episode, and expand it a bit more in the finale episode. You might remember that this section was built completely flat in episode 2 to place the creator 3-in-1 Viking ship. Here I've reworked the terrain structure to give it some varied elevations, since corals usually cluster around rocky formations. But I only have a depth of 14 bricks to work with, so I couldn't go too crazy with the elevations and the rock work. As usual, I began with contouring work to fill up the gaps between the elevations, leaving some flat areas to place coral builds. I wanted to have a prominent cluster of coral as a focal point, so I built up some rock panels at the back of the diorama so that it wouldn't obstruct the placement of boats in the finale. I kept the rockwork fairly simple here, since it will be covered up by corals anyways. I used the thallus piece as well as regular plant leaves with different attachments for the coral formations. After that, I layered on more leaf pieces on the ground, since new corals tends to grow on top of old coral, so it had to look cluttered underneath. You may have noticed the use of sand green down here. I think it gives an underwater tint to everything instead of just using olive green like the terrain work on dry land. I swapped out some parts on the underwater cliff that was built in episode 1 with sand green as well. Originally it was just olive green, dark tan and dark bluish grey. Next I added a section of a shipwreck built on a whole piece. This is supposed to be a Lion Knight's warship that Chief Oswald talked about in the story segment of episode 4, which sunk 30 to 40 years ago, so it would have decayed significantly at this point. The remains of a frame are represented with arched pieces attached upside down using bottle caps and plates with holes. I detailed it a bit more with some seaweed and skeletons of fallen crew members. In the story segment of episode 3, we learned that the Sondarim are descendants of an ancient demonic race known as the Ver Ithil. They had a fortress here but has sunk into the ocean over 10,000 years ago. I wanted to create ruins of the fortress inspired by ancient Egyptian architecture with pyramids and obelisks, since fire is symbolically represented by an upright triangle which is the shape of a pyramid. Here we have the tip of an obelisk, the rest of it is buried under the seabed over the millennia since it sank. The placement here suggests that the ship broke in half upon landing onto the obelisk as it sank. I'm planning to build the remains of a pyramid-type structure in the finale episode as well. Here we have a different type of coral to create some variations between each patch. To create these vertical corals, I attached 4 plant leaves with a hot dog piece to create this fan-like structure and attach it down with a 45-degree angle bar piece. Another shipwreck is placed, although this is a smaller separate ship, whereas the other 3 segments is part of one larger ship. After that, I finished things off by adding different types of sea life throughout the build. Strange sounds radiated from the seer's staff. The Sondarim, I hear them, the seer said. They are watching now. Chief Oswald nodded. This is your chance to earn your freedom. Defeat the 4 who stand before you, and you may leave. But know this. Those who fall, whether by blade or surrender, will be given to the Sondarim. Let the battles begin! Prince Helena narrowed his eyes. Hard to believe you'd simply let my men walk free if they win. You need not doubt it. I was once one of the 4 myself before I became chief. Now, my second son, Sigvid, fights in my place. The fact that we both still draw breath should tell you all you need to know about their odds. Gunod always ends them too quickly. Knut better put on a proper show for the Sondarim. I yield! I yield! The captive cried in desperation. Ha! So much for the prince's elite guards, groveling like a pig. You locked them up and starved them. What did you expect? One of my men died because of it. That's no excuse. Hunger sharpens the senses. Besides, the Sondarim favor live offerings. He'll soon wish he died fighting. Now that's a rare sight. It's been years since one of our own fell in the pit, but no matter, he will not survive Sigvid. Bring them both. Let the Sondarim witness a true contest, Sigvid declared. The Sondarim have made their will known. The elves are to be taken alive. You are not to kill them. But I am death in the pit. The Sondarim know this. Not this time. You've slain one of the elves. I ought to toss you into the sea myself. How was I to know the elves would have such thin legs? Take them to the shore, Chief Oswald ordered, his voice thick with frustration. The captives, both living and dead, were tossed into the sea. Prince Helena watched in horrified silence as dark figures converged on the struggling bodies, devouring them as they drowned into the black abyss. I'd like to give a big shout out to our channel members supporting the creation of Scarillis, with a special thank you to Fennec and Brendan Bundyboy Davies, our 2 captains of the guards. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.